Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 38, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episodes on the weekends, on Saturdays, and we record and release it on podcast services like Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. So show us the love by giving a follow, a thumbs up, a like, what have you on any of those podcast services, or check out the main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat, back from the dead. Thank God. Thank
As
God. How's it going with you?
the cat starts screaming, it's you're on cat duty. Get him.
Meow.
He's like at the door screaming. I'm doing good. I still feel weak and like weirdly sweaty at times, but I'm doing better. Uh, you know, it's leaving my system. I think we'll
Mhm.
see. I mean, who knows? Y'all might get a message tomorrow that I kicked the bucket. But at the moment, I'm feeling better. So yeah, thank you for asking.
That is good. That's good. So yeah, I'm definitely glad you're back with us, and so you can definitely have some awesome discussions as
Yeah.
always. And also, we got the whistleblower of the itty bitty Smitty committee. How are you doing, Smitty? What's going on with you?
Doing well, my friends. It's been another busy week. We dropped episode 8 for LAN parties, so that's going well. That's been a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I've been back on the Division 2 grind. The new New York DLC dropped. I just finished the story campaign. And I'm not gonna. I know there's people that haven't played it yet, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. But I'm enjoying it. It's.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a nice addition to the game and opens it up a little bit. As you know, if you played Division, that was in New York, so it was cool. Like, kind of having that nostalgia, going back to that city and being like, oh, what's been going on and whatnot. So that's been
Right.
cool. Destiny 2, that season is coming to an end here. So just trying to finish out some last minute things, uh, and then Star Citizen. That's basically been it.
You've been patiently waiting for the newest expansion for Anthem as well too.
I'm
Just
waiting
had
on that. I'm not
it.
holding my breath or anything, but we'll see
But
what
he
they.
is.
Yeah, a little bit. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. And then obviously Overwatch season 21 started, so we'll jump into that a little bit later.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's gonna be very nice. And yeah, and it's funny. Like, so this week it's funny. So I was setting up, making sure everything's straight for all our convention coverage that we usually do. Then it's like, yeah, 2 days ago, it's like, oh hey, we already did the one about last week about GDC canceling, and we were bummed, but understandable. But then I was like, okay, let's go to the next convention, Emerald City Comic Con, canceled. Oh, finally, confirmation it gets canceled this week, but it's moving to the summertime. Then I'm like, okay, let's do South by Southwest. It's going to be starting next week. Then we get a confirmation yesterday. Oh, that got canceled. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, man, this is getting crazy.
The dominoes
So
are
like,
falling.
dominoes are definitely falling, man. I might as well just say, you know what, anything on the springtime, I might as well not even try for it because right now
Yeah.
it's too crazy. So like, then what's even crazy? So the next one I have to worry about is Sakura Con, which is back in Seattle, which I don't feel like I don't know if they're like, if they do it, then that's just gonna be weird. So who knows, man. It's just it's very crazy to try. You have to set something up just to set something up,
Yeah.
and just to say it's going to get canceled. But and I'm perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm not bummed that this is happening. This is for basically for your health. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and at the end of the day, it's all about your health, So this is, I mean, this is all nice and all, but yeah. And also, like I was gonna say, like I had earlier, I'm like literally on the page to buy a Switch Lite right now. I tried to justify myself to not do it, but I'm just like, man, I really
Don't
should.
do it.
Do it.
The
Do
frizz says don't
it.
do it. The frizzy hair says don't do
The fridge
it.
says don't.
The frizz
So
says don't do it.
we'll see. But at the end of the episode, we'll see if I'm going to be a Switch Lite owner. But we'll get. But let's get back to it. Yeah, we'll just get into
Alrighty.
it. Each of us picks a new topic of discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry this week. And we don't want to just talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners or the viewers who are watching us on twitch.tv/CFG Gamecast. See the way I did that? Nice segue.
Hey.
To be a part of the conversation. So if you have something to say or if you have an opinion, definitely don't feel free to just type it down. We'll check the chats, and if it's a good question or a topic, we'll put it in a part of the podcast episode itself. So let's get on to it. So for a good welcome back, we'll say, Lex, why don't you start it up? What do you have to bring to the table?
Well, guys, I have
Nothing
several
but talk.
topics. I know. So I have a few topics actually. So just to recap, yes, I was not here last week. Sorry, guys. I was in bed with 103 fever, but I'm back. So we already previously discussed like the hero pools or the hero bands, as they were calling it before they released it and called it hero pools. If you were hanging out in Smitty's channel last night, we were playing comp. Me, Adam, or Dust, sorry, and Smitty were all playing comp. It was a lot of fun. So that was kind of like our first like initial seeing of what it's going to be like. So if you don't know, the hero pools this week, Orisa is banned, Baptiste. I'm trying to remember who else. Someone else.
How many people? Wait, how many of these people are banned in these?
I think it's 2 DPS, 1 tank, and 1 support.
Wow.
May, Baptiste, and Orisa are the bans for this week. So every week it's going to change, and they're not calling it ban; they're calling it hero pools. So. And for me, like, it's not a big deal. I'm pretty well rounded, but for a lot of people who, like our buddy Doc, he plays a lot of Orisa. So for him, I mean, last night he like I heard the genuine like, "Aw, Orisa, you can't play cop." It's like, yeah, maybe wait till next week, buddy. So for some people that's going to be a big issue, but for others it isn't. And look, if it is an issue, I highly recommend get 2 or 3 from each grouping that you're pretty decent with. You know what I mean? You've plenty of time to practice. Mystery Heroes is a great way to do that. And it's fun. You don't get salty. And with Mystery Heroes, it's kind of it's random.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who's going to win, and it's basically can you make the best out of what you get, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, but like, so theoretically though, like I said, like I think when we talked about this before,
Yeah, there are map pools as well.
Yeah. The biggest, well, the thing was, oh my gosh, my Google is going crazy. Calm down, Google. Shut up, Google. Okay, anyways, so I was going to say this, like we said before, I was thinking like the good thing about this is that this is bringing in a wrench of making people have diversity of what they choose.
Absolutely.
So instead of doing like like what you were saying about like holding off, like I mean, your friend's kind of being forced to learn somebody else. Has he, or is he going to just wait out the storm and just wait till the week when they're not banned?
I don't know. Did you hear anything about it, Smitty? Because I mean,
What?
he's a mutual friend. Doc, is he gonna wait till next week when Orisa is not
I'm
off
not
the hero pool?
I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if Doc plays a lot of comp because he doesn't play with us. He's not in our field, so to speak.
Well, I don't think he plays a lot of Overwatch in general. I think he's been on other games as of late, so it's not like it hasn't really been a high priority to go through. So even if he did, decide to wait, like I don't think he's gonna feel it any. And frankly, I think it may be better to wait a little bit because you got all the super tryhards and this and that going day one. So it's kind of nice to let it breathe a little bit. And So I don't think it'll affect him if he does decide to wait, or if it's even something that he's thinking about.
Sawed off. I remember you.
Yeah. So like, okay. So what about the what's it called?
The map pools?
Yeah, the map pools. The map pools itself, we just like how the pools work in itself though. Like since this is the first week y'all have experienced it, and y'all have experienced it, y'all have experienced it yourself. How what do y'all feel like? Like, how do you think is this a good direction of how the game is going, or like do you feel like it's like they should have just left it alone?
I enjoyed it personally. Like, Baptiste is one of my main heal. I'm a healer main. I am good at DPS, but I prefer playing heals because I'm one of those people I really enjoy multitasking. And so Lucio kind of fits my personality. It's a running gag that I play Lucio how I am in real life. Like I'm in your face, and you either love me or you hate me.
Mhm.
But in general, like Baptiste last night a couple times, I was like, oh man. But it forced me to like rethink, like, okay, who do we have? Who are we running? And what is my best options now? Right. And so I kind of liked that it made me go back and rethink instead of like him easily being accessible. Okay, so Smitty's my other healer. He's playing Moira. I'm Lucio. I'm going to switch to Anna. He's going to switch to Lucio. And then I ended up switching to Zen, and that ended up working. So our switches were really well timed. I don't think we missed out on any ults, but we were able to compensate. And I don't know. For me, I enjoyed it. Smitty didn't seem to hate it either. I didn't hear like too much commentary from anyone that we played with.
Mhm.
And it didn't seem like I think I only saw one person in like the general chat of like from either team discussing the hero pools. Only one person seemed salty about it, to be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah, because then everyone's going to like it. What about you, Smitty?
Yeah.
What would
We
you?
touched on this when we originally talked about this being a thing. And here's what here I love this. I absolutely love it. It means it throws another element into the game that you have to work around. For me, and this is where I think as developers, they want the community to get to is not just it's not yeah, you can one trick people or whatever, but it's a lot more fun learning different characters and learning how to be able to work as a team, work as one to accomplish this singular goal. And that to
Mhm.
me is the fun in this game, is working together as a team,
Absolutely.
making good switches, or saying, hey, they've got this Winston that's wrecking us. I'm gonna go ahead and change to Reaper to counter that. And what I mean,
Right.
that's the fun of the game. I think a lot of people miss that point and they kind of get selfish when it comes to this game, and they're playing more
Hmm.
for themselves as opposed to playing as a team to win as a team. That's the point of the game.
Absolutely.
So I absolutely love this. I think it brings a different dynamic in to where they're gonna have to be adaptable and know some other players. This is, I mean, again, one of my favorite game modes is Mystery Heroes. I know a lot of people
Yep.
don't like Mystery Heroes, but I love it
Love
because
it
it
though.
gives me an opportunity to be able to try out these different characters in a non-stressful environment to even see if it'd be something that's viable in a competitive setting. If I feel
Hmm.
that it is, then like in quick play or something like that, I'll use them more. Like you'll see,
Right.
I'll use Ash in quick play and stuff just because I want to get better. I suck with all the snipers basically, and like I want to at least be decent with
Yeah.
one of them. You know what I mean? And like she's
Right.
got a great ult, so like I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is. I want them to keep this. I think this is fantastic.
Agreed.
Kudos to them to trying different stuff and being super responsive to the community, both casual and competitive.
Well, and to make a point on that, I think like last night, out of all of I can say over like I've played with Smitty and Comp for years, PlayStation 4 to now PC. He and I were on like a legitimate like team. Like we like every night we were playing, and if you missed a weekend, you got replaced, which happened to me. I'm still salty about it, Smitty. Anyways, um
To this day.
till this day. No, but I think last night it was really neat because a lot of the times you run into problems where people don't want to switch, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to counter. And last night, I feel like maybe we had one game where a couple people on our team were not like one DPS was like, I don't understand what I'm doing,
Mm.
and they kept switching too much or didn't want to switch at all. But everyone else was really intuitive, and even without talking to each other, because we're not in comms with the other people on our team,
Right.
right? But very intuitively, you would see in chat, okay, you switched. I'm going to switch to help with that counter, right? And I felt like those were the least saltiest comp games for prelims I've ever done. And they were
Yeah.
enjoyable. We had so much fun. I don't think anyone except the one guy who was salty about hero pools, and even then, he wasn't really salty about the game. We
Hmm.
had some fun, friendly trash talking with another team. They beat the shit out of us. Cool. We get it.
Yeah.
And we were kind of joking with
He
them,
was hella
like,
salty.
oh, yeah, we're so
Well, you always get that one person that's like,
right.
that hardcore about like, oh, I
Yeah,
can't believe you're doing this stuff, or you're saying this stuff, you did
right.
it wrong and stuff, because they're never
Exactly.
wrong. They know what they're doing. They're the pro of the team. So I mean,
Well, and the other team was like, Smitty, are you throwing? And he was like, me? Like right at the chat, like, no. And then murdered that fool the next push and was
Yeah.
like, I'm not throwing, look at me. And so we were kind
wow.
of jokingly trash talking back and forth with that team. And even that wasn't salty. Like at the end of it, it was
Yeah.
like, good game, cool, we're out. See ya if we see ya. No one
Mhm.
was banned. I didn't ban a single person that we played with or played against last night. It was fun. I liked it. It was enjoyable. My score is getting better because I got screwed the first 2 seasons. I don't want to talk about it. But it was so much fun. I enjoyed it, and that's that. I liked it. Keep it
Okay,
up,
that's
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Good
good
for
deal.
you, man.
Man, have you noticed that we've been literally talking about something either Activision Blizzard for the past like
Dude,
month?
We've
Something
been in the news a lot
for
lately, I
the
feel
past
like.
month, but it's funny.
Man.
But
Yeah,
there was something else you said you wanted to talk
I
about too, right?
do.
Okay.
Before we talk about Valorant, do we want to run the Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Let's
The
can
Doom
do it.
trailer.
I say let's run the Doom trailer for everybody. Now, before we do, if you've ever played any of the Doom games, when you watch the trailers or play the games, the big components are the visuals, you're running in to kill something, and the music. The music is always hardcore. It's gets your blood running, it gets you pumping, the bass, the drums, everything. Every element of it is just it's invigorating and it makes you so immersed in the game. And then they did this. Adam showed it to me and I walked out of the room this morning. He was like, you were going to lose it. So if you are Doom fans, as I am, please enjoy. Don't hate me. And we'll discuss further after because there's more development that we figured out.
Here we go.
Ah!
March against it to the end. Yeah. This is my mission. I'm here for purpose. I give them that vision. We put in that work and we flipping that rhythm till everything surges. Today is the day we rebel with a purpose. Renegade. Front lines, let it ring. March on till they see the whole system change.
What is this music? Why? What did you do? Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding? I want to grab my camera and shake it. What? Excuse me. Here's the kicker. We looked up the actual song. The song is fantastic. They picked the crappiest, slowest part of that song. Like the song is actually legit pretty hype. Like it could have worked. I would have liked it, but I would have hated it less. Okay.
Yeah. But before we go on, because I know Fry Man WW3 is saying, "Hold on, what's Doom? May I ask?" And Doom, yeah, I mean,
Child, sit down. Let
if
us
she's not
tell you.
may not be old enough. Basically the long story short of it, the first person shooter genre in itself that as you know what it is in gaming, is because of Doom. Doom is the
Yeah.
very first of all of this. Like
What was
back
the
in 90,
first
it was really one of the first person shooter games that was ever really created towards it. So Doom, basically you're like I won't say master starter, but you're like a dude who goes in the portals of hell, and you're fighting all these demons and stuff like this. And you're just and it's just basically a crazy shooting game with action, with a lot of crazy action, a lot of crazy rock, and it's always high intense, because like one of the biggest things that you have to fight was like cybernetic demons, like eyeball monsters, all this stuff. It's great. It's a great game, and it's like
It's a kill
probably
'em all, shoot 'em up.
yeah, it's a kill 'em all, shoot 'em up, and it's like, but what's even better is that the Doom has never really changed the formula, which is basically you are a guy that is just trying to survive, and there's no multiplayer in this and stuff. It is very, very great, and it's very fast paced. So yeah, so that's what Doom is. So yeah, and we're basically any old school gamers know that, and I understand why some people don't. But continue what you were going to say, Lex. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. So
Uh,
this is a game that even if you're not into like the hard rock, and when I mean hard rock, I mean metal beyond metal, okay? it's metal. It's hardcore heavy metal, and it's not even. It's more underground. It's not like, oh, this could be on the radio kind of music. No, and in the game, the developer of the music himself is pretty renowned. He makes all the music for the games, and even he's like, if you screw this up, the Doom fans will burn your house down, and he's not joking. In the trailer, just some of the comments are, we're coming for you. This marketing team should all be fired. They should be canceled. I mean, Doom fans are losing it, and I don't
Yeah.
blame them. But at the same time, it's like, why didn't you pick a better portion of that song? The song was great in itself. So now not only is the marketing team on the line, the person who wrote this song is probably getting it, and it's not wasn't even their choice. You know what I mean? It's like a company purchased the rights to use the music in a commercial and picked the worst section to go with the
See, but
dynamic.
I'm gonna back off on that because first off, Doom fans need to calm the hell down because it's just like it's like, really, dude, it's a commercial. I understand you're a Doom fan. We know you're going to get the game. All right, so this is just people that's being introduced to the genre, like people like Fry that may not know what Doom is. Calm down. All right, the commercial's not meant for you. So but I will say this though,
Don't you tell
Doom
me to calm
itself.
down.
How dare you? People do need to die. Yeah, but no.
Come to me.
The name of the song though itself was Rebel Renegade. It was made by a guy named Tommy Profit back 2 years ago, and I was like, this song at first I thought, because the beat was kind of remind me of like what's it called, Black with Kanye West kind of.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is Kanye West, isn't it? And then so I looked it up. I was like, I gotta find out who made this song, because
Yeah.
the song does not match what the whole environment of Doom. So I listened to the song itself, and to its credit, the song is good. The song
Yeah.
is really good. The problem is, like, whoever decided to say, hey, here is what we're wanting to use out of the song to put in this commercial, it was clearly it was sent to deaf ears, because it did not match what it was for. But like the first parts of the song connected a lot better than what they gave on
Yeah.
this. So in that respect, I would say that, yeah, marketing failed on that on their side.
Yeah, I don't
So
know why
what?
they didn't just use this trailer music, because this is way better, just listen. I mean, hearing this and whatnot instead of. I mean, I kind of get it, and like, here's the thing. I think there was a strategy, and within their marketing team, they want to, because they already know that they're going
They
to
wanna
get an
reach a
old
broader
school, and
audience.
that's exactly what it boils down to. It's trying to now reach this demographic, bring this new demographic
Whisper rap.
into.
No.
yeah. Bring this new demographic into this franchise, and they were trying to bridge that gap. And I think, again, this was a choice of, because I listened to the song too, and there were like the build. I mean, you basically took the climax of the
build
song.
up.
And you know what I mean, there's no context before then, which I thought even the build up to the climax was better and would have fit the trailer better than the section that they chose. So I mean, that to me is a failure on the whoever the the producer. That's gonna fall on the producer. If there maybe an EP editor, or whoever's decision that was to say, yes, this is it, because this is going to go through multiple people that are going to approve and say, yes, this is hot, we like this. So this doesn't just fall on one person. This went through a line of people,
This
and
was
that
the line of people that just
yeah.
said this.
So
Yeah,
It's a
but I mean,
marketing
like,
team.
that's a failure on their
Fryman-
part.
Yeah, Fryman is going to, like that wing answered. Yes, it is. It's published by Bethesda. Id Software is the company that made it. They're the ones that have always made Doom. But I will say, to its credit, that Bethesda does own id. So so like, it's kind of weird, because I have a love-hate relationship with Bethesda personally.
Yeah. I
But
feel you on that.
but for Doom games, if they keep letting id do what they're doing by just keeping it, because like, if you played the last Doom that came out in 2017, like especially like what Lex was saying, music is very important to this game. because like it was, and you could feel it because at the beginning it was subtle. Then like when the longer you've been playing that game, it was just getting crazier and crazier and crazier towards that. And then and it's that whole trip. Like if they allow it to stay in its lane and do what they want to do with this game, then I have no problems with Bethesda. But if Bethesda decides to kind of pull like what Activision does with Blizzard, then there's gonna be fisticuffs on
Well,
that.
and here's the thing, and let's clarify like how the music goes if you've never played the game before. It's not like, for instance, like if you guys have been hanging out in the channel on This Is Lex, when we've been playing Outlast, sometimes randomly the music just cues up like something's coming after me, and we'll stop, and I turn around, I'm like, nothing's happening, stop it. Like it's trying to do an audio cue scare, and it's like shush, nothing's here, you're fine, right? It's not like that. This game is very, every part of that music with the storyline and the characters and what you're going through, it's all an immersion experience, right? And it's fantastic in the way that it works, and the guy who does the music is absolutely amazing, and he's very well aware of like he's secured his job in the Doom business, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, it's very immersive, and it really does hype you up. It makes you want to keep playing the game. It's one of those, you blink and 13 hours has gone by and you're like, what happened? I should eat, I haven't even peed yet, you know? And that's how the music really cues you in, and it's a big part. And I get it. Look, you want to reach a broader audience from a marketing standpoint, fantastic. What did you do though? You know what I mean? Like, you have to stop and think about it. Like, yes, you want to reach a broader audience, but you did pick a great song. Let's be fair. You picked a great song. Why did you pick a part that didn't make any sense? You know, like the whole, like, I'm a renegade, yeah, like rebel, cool, I get it, I get the vibe that you're selling me. Where's the rest of this? You know what I mean? And then we listen to the song, and it's actually fantastic. You know, and it's just silly. It's silly on their part. Like, what happened? Like,
I
who
definitely agree.
okayed it? You know, and look, the game's fantastic. I can't wait to play it. I have played every Doom game. Some of them are not that great, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan. I enjoy it. I love going to hell and killing things and punishing them. And that's fantastic. It was a little kerfuffle.
Well, okay, that's cool. All right, we gotta cut your. I gotta, unfortunately, can't.
No,
We'll have
you're
time
fine.
for your third part,
It's
but
all right.
that's
I know.
cool.
You
But
talk
let's,
too long, Davies.
No,
What's
but it
wrong?
was good.
No,
It was
you're
good. It was, hey, we got you did 2 topics
I have
in
3.
that
Yeah, I know.
circuit. You had out of the 3, which isn't bad. So there you go.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, so it's gonna be. I'll go next on it. My topic is technically it's Final Fantasy VII remake related, but it's not the game itself. It's actually just I guess it's more of a question, if you will, for the most part. So, as you know, the biggest anticipated game, one of the very biggest anticipated games this year, is Final Fantasy VII remake. They just released the trailer, not the trailer, the demo this on Monday. This previous Monday, and people have been playing it, loving it. It's been awesome. So like people, I've been staying away from it because I don't want any spoil. Like, I mean, even though I played the game a long time ago, which is scary to say 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that it's just going to that I was like, you know what? No, I just want to have the full, like the full all of it. Once the whole game is out, I'm gonna go play it and then just say, okay, this is what I think. Because technically, myself, I am not a big Final Fantasy VII fan, and that's a whole different story of things that we can talk to about that later on. Yeah, but anyways, digressing. The biggest issue was like, so I go to a lot of different places, a lot of like RPG forums and chats and stuff like that. And the biggest thing is like, you know, since people are like in these forums and chats, all they play are RPGs. They kind of have that elitist level of thinking. So one of these people, and I think this is a person that's like brand new to the genre. Like they haven't played a lot of JRPGs, but they're starting to like the genre itself. Because of the storytelling comes in, and they asked a legitimate question, and then of course all these elitists are starting to say like, oh, like of course, I mean the game has been out since '97, like why not and stuff. So I was gonna throw this question to y'all, you and also the Twitch viewers, like, okay, so Final Fantasy VII remake is coming out. We know it's coming out. It's a real big thing. But now the question is, it's been over 20 years since the original one. would you when would you consider this to be a spoiler? A spoiler itself. So what essentially they're saying that since the game came out 20 years ago, that that it's basically fair domain. It's like you could say what happens in the game and stuff like that.
It's
And
like if you haven't watched the Titanic, then
exactly,
that's on you.
Exactly, yeah, and it's on you for doing it. But now, since you know that the remake is coming, and we know that the remake is a real thing that's going to be coming very, very soon, from it, would you still consider would you still consider telling people about spoilers of the game? And when I was thinking about it, I was like, of course not. I think, well, at first I was like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, it's a spoiler because the game's been out for 20 years. But then again, the mix comes out knowing that the game is coming back, and then they've changed the system, but the story is still the same, and it's been 20 years. Nowadays this would be a spoiler because technically you're introduced, not only that you're bringing this game back from the back from nostalgia reasons, but now it's been so long that there is a new generation of people that may have not that know about Final Fantasy VII but couldn't play it because how crappy the graphics are now to this level, as opposed to what it was back in the day. That a new generation of people are going to be actually playing this game to say this is Final Fantasy VII. So and then plus this new person that was asking these questions, I was like, this person's new to the genre. So I mean, why would you want to ruin that for the person to have that experience that we had 20 years ago? So I was like, on my point, I say yeah, it would be. So what about y'all?
Oh, yes and no. So here's my thing. I think absolutely it can be a spoiler, but here's my thoughts on that. So it's like when you're watching the last season of Game of Thrones. You avoid Twitter. You know what to not look for. You don't go, you don't go snooping around. And I think that's kind of the same thing. Like I think it's good to discuss things like what's new, what's changed. Here's things to look forward to in the game. Is it necessarily a spoiler? Yes, but people can avoid getting spoiled. Does that make sense? I mean, I feel like you're an adult. You can put your pants on, and you can figure out what to avoid if you don't want to get it spoiled for you if you are planning to play the game.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, we're talking about in relation to the demo or
no, we're talking about in general. Just like when the game's about to come out, the game is about to come out, and people have heard. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is not something that's crawling from something under a rock. This is like this is game introduced when it came out, introduced people to the genre of RPGs.
This was my first
time.
This was my first Final Fantasy.
Exactly, because what led people into it was the graphics, and it was like something that was never seen before. But now, I mean, 20 years, but now, if the game was not coming out, like if we knew that Final Fantasy, they said we were never doing a remake for Final Fantasy VII, then I would understand saying, okay, yeah, it's been 20 years. You could definitely say something, but no. It's coming out. It's coming back, and it's coming back strong. That you shouldn't feel like, oh, you're not really a Final Fantasy VII loyalist, or because you never played the original one, but more like it's been 20 years. Here's the new look of this thing, and then people may actually will be a little bit pissed if you tell them like what's going on with it, and that's exactly what was happening in this form. In this form I was in. So I was just like, wow, this is kind of crazy.
It's a forum?
Well,
yeah.
It was, yeah, it's like a Reddit. It was a Reddit thing.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So, I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Smitty?
I mean, again, to me, that's like, you gotta, I mean, it's the internet, dude. Like, if you know that there's something, like, I just avoid, like for me in Endgame, Avenger Endgame, I didn't watch a single trailer leading into it. I knew that people would be posting about it. I knew that it was going to be hype. It was up to me to avert my eyeballs, when something came up. I might have caught a little glimpse or whatever, but, again, there was no context to the little bit I may have seen. So, you just have to be extra diligent if that's the case for you. Like, I have I have the demo, and, like, seriously, I just wanted to cry because Like, I mean, dude, like this, like
Nostalgia.
I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, here it is, and like, you know, my story, I never got to finish the game. Like for me, this is gonna be a brand new game because this
Wait, I
was
didn't know you.
25.
I didn't know you didn't finish the game.
No, dude, my brother erased my save point. I was like on disc
Yeah.
3, and I didn't have it in me to to get back to that point, dude. 'Cause, like it was so big, it like so I never ended up finishing it. So like, and there's a lot of, I mean, again, that was 25 plus years ago. So like a lot of this, I don't even like. I have like flashes of kind of remembering it, but like I
Yeah.
don't really fully remember it. So it's gonna be brand new again to me, I think. It's absolutely gorgeous. The fighting system is amazing. I'm super geeked on this. I'm so glad this is coming out. You know, so I feel bad for the people that are getting it spoiled. All I can say is be extra diligent about, you know, where you're at on the internet and where you know people are going to be talking about it, whether you like it or
Well,
not. So
I'm not talking about spoiling it. I'm just talking about like, what would you think? Like, I mean, what's your personal thing? Like, what do you think? Like, in your view, is your view saying that like, since it's been 20 years, would you consider it to be spoilers if someone did say that to you online, like etiquette wise? Let's say etiquettely, would you say that knowing that Final Fantasy VII remake is coming out in April, and knowing that like, so maybe knowing that you played it before, and then let's say you do remember that one thing that you remember, but that could possibly spoil it for someone else, would you yourself post something on that, and would you feel bad because or would you go by the excuse of saying, oh, it's been out for 20 years, it's not spoilers, it's like it hit that
No.
spoiler
no.
expiration.
I mean,
you know?
again, if somebody
I mean,
feels that way, I'm gonna apologize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my intention, regardless of what my
You never
intention
spoil
is, if it,
something
you know,
for
if somebody felt that I spoiled something. That's why I don't personally do it, but I know people that will do that, or they will intentionally spoil things just because they think it's funny. I take that
Yeah,
stuff very
sure.
seriously, especially like with films,
Oh, yeah.
games, things like that. So I would never, me personally, I would never be in that boat because unless, you know what I mean, like unless I know explicitly people have played this on a wide majority, then I'm probably not going to talk about it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and this was a game I never played, so and not to say that I won't play it. It's just one of those. I never got into the Final Fantasy series. I'm sorry. I know I do
Well, I mean,
play all of the
go
Kingdom
ahead.
Hearts though, so I know who Cloud is and I know who these characters are. But I
Mhm.
mean, for instance, like we discuss TV shows and movies sometimes on the channel, and I'll like allude to something, but I won't say anything. And so I kind of like I don't want to spoil it for other people that haven't seen it, but it's like, oh, I want to talk about this. And you know the thing that happened? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, didn't you you know, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody because I know that feeling of like disappointment. But again, like Smitty was saying, I avoided Twitter for like a month for Avengers. I was like, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to watch the trailers and like I finally did watch the trailer without sound. I was like, I don't want to hear anything. um
Oh.
I watched it without
Wow.
sound first and like kind of like
That's
this.
fantastic.
Because I mean I'm a huge Marvel fan. Like Tony Stark is my man. All right, but
Mhm.
again, it's like I don't want to spoil. Like I'm not one of those people to intentionally spoil, but there are those people out there. So you just kind of have to be careful. Maybe talk if you're curious about something. Maybe ask a confidant that you know is not going to be a jerk about it.
Yeah.
Don't go onto some Reddit forum and go, "Hey guys, I have a question," and there's gonna be a troll somewhere.
Yeah.
There's always
Very much so.
trolls. You avoid the bridges. That's all.
Avoid the bridges. Okay, going to the chat, just checking it. Fryman WW3. I know when when I'm asking this a lot. What is Final Fantasy? I've heard of it, but I don't know what it's about. Final Fantasy is basically just a line of RPGs. It's a gigantic series of RPGs that came out in the 80s. I'm not gonna go it. Just different, like if you like role playing games, like Dragon Warrior, all these different kinds of things. It's basically each Final Fantasy had a different story, and it's a crazy epic story. So now the biggest one of all of them, like I think they're at 15 now. So the biggest one of all the Final Fantasies was 7 because at the time 1 through 6 they basically had the same kind of cookie cutter formula. graphics and stuff. 7, when it was moved to the PlayStation, the first PlayStation, they upped it. They upped the game of RPGs with the 3D graphics, the video FMVs that happened in it and stuff. So everyone, when everyone saw this kind of game, it was like, okay, we got to try it, and we play it. Just kind of like how the jump from Grand Theft Auto 1 to Grand Theft Auto 3 happened, was like a full 3D world of it, was like, wow, this is crazy. So yeah, so that's what, so Final Fantasy 7 is mostly the most, it's easily to say the most popular one, or the most heavily driven one of them all right now, because it was an introduction to RPGs for a lot of people who usually didn't play RPGs. So that's why it was so big. Oh, did I delete your thing? Well, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, but I accidentally deleted your.
No, I did it. I did it. It was a spoiler.
Yeah, someone spoiled something. Don't shush.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
spoil. Guys,
She literally
right?
just said she didn't see it.
And then you had to open your mouth, boy. You getting timed out. Bye.
Okay, so people are spoiling what happens in it and haven't played it are upset. I mean, no, that note, I agree with what Lex said. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that's true. If you're wanting to not get spoilers, don't be in the situation to get a chance to it. Makes sense. But sometimes people are wanting to just know, like, I mean, someone new in the RPG realm is in that kind of deal, sees like wanting to know more about different kinds of RPGs. They would want to go that because it's a good source to kind of find out what kind of stuff is there, so yeah, so I mean,
I'd like to publicly apologize
too.
to Fry.
You know what I mean?
She did say something about knowing about the end game.
Oh, did she?
Part, yes.
See,
my bad, Fry.
I saw that. No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, I thought, because Fry didn't know what Final Fantasy was. Like, how did he spoil it?
No,
But,
not that.
it's all good. Oh, okay. But yeah, so I mean, I just think that overall, that, like, I mean, but I mean, forums are supposed to be like, like Reddit forums and stuff, because like I usually go to one called RPG Fan and stuff. So this is the kind of thing that saw it. So, but I mean, like, overall, let's see if there's anything else, if I missed anything here.
Well, my question to you, I guess, would be like, was their question something that they could obviously do outside of a Reddit forum? Do you know what I mean? Like, couldn't they just do some more Google searching and maybe answer their question a different route versus getting it from like a broader audience? You know what I mean?
I honestly don't know, because I never really. I mean, I usually don't like replying on these kind of forums in general, because it's basically like once you have your opinion out there, people are just gonna
smash it,
knock it. Yeah. So like but I just read like when I was reading it, I was like, man, these people are kind of getting a little bit harsh on the simple thing. I mean, I don't know if this person's trolling or not, but like at the same time, it's like I would treat it as if he was legitimately wanting to know more information about it. So like yeah, so I don't know. He could have. I guess I could say yes. So we'll see. We'll see on it. Yeah, but it's very interesting. I was oh, okay, you're talking about, okay, I see what y'all saying. Okay, so that was a good conversation on that. So last but not least, we got Smitty on the third set topic. Smitty, what are you bringing to the table?
So I just wanted to do an update of Geforce Now. Wow. Wow.
We're out of time. Well, I'm sorry, Red. I'm just kidding.
Wah, 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 wah. And that's all, folks. Unfortunately, it continues to look bad for Geforce Now. They recently had another major company, 2K, pulled out. Same reasons. There was no kind of agreement that was reached upon as far as after the beta was out. The sad thing about this, though, is just the fact that, again, this is all about, to me, just that corporate greed and them not wanting to help this new platform, succeed. So they're pulling their games and this and that. Like, we saw that it can work, and now it seems like, whoa, hold up, we need our piece of the pie as well. And they're like, well, hold on, guys. The people have always purchased the game. We're just a portal for them to be able to play their games on different platforms, making it nice and easy and whatnot. And of course, these bigger corporations now are saying, well, we need our piece of the pie, and they're pulling out. It's really unfortunate to see this, and I think it's definitely a step backwards for cloud gaming, because now this is setting a precedence as far as with publishers and how they're gonna move forward with cloud gaming. So unfortunately, like it was there. I'm glad now that I don't have it and haven't paid any money as of right now because of the publishers. You had Bethesda pulled out, Capcom. Who was the gosh dang, I can't remember. There's
EA.
EA
Oh, no, it
uh,
wasn't
or Activision.
yeah, yeah, Activision.
Activision. So you had like these major games that you were able to play that you had on Steam, and now that you no longer have access to, which is unfortunate. So unfortunately, I think money is going to, at least right now, hinder the future of cloud gaming. And I think it's kind of them saying, hold on, we need to figure out this technology as well. So we're going to put the brakes on this from moving forward so that we can capitalize on this instead of, it's almost like what Netflix did, and nobody knew and realized what they were doing until they got too powerful, and then people were trying to play catch up on that whole system. It's the same thing with like solar companies and things like that. The power company putting a halt on that stuff and blocking things and whatnot because they need to get their piece of the pie. It's just unfortunate to see innovation being thwarted because of dollars and cents.
Okay, but this was really kind of getting me a little annoyed by this because no, you're totally right. Because I think the struggle is real on that, because it doesn't. In my eyes, when we were talking about it, I wasn't really sure. I was kind of on I was on the side of Activision Blizzard. I do remember saying that. I was like, it
Yeah,
doesn't make sense why they didn't do that. But then I seriously
it's
started thinking about
understandable.
it. Yeah, but I seriously started thinking about this, and then it was like, when you seriously think about it, like, you bought the game already,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Like, it wasn't like you're leasing the game. It wasn't like you're doing it's not like you had an agreement with Activision, or with Blizzard themselves, saying that this game isn't entirely what I wanted to play itself. You spent the $60, the $30, whatever, yourself to do it. Why would the developers care at that point, care for you to on how you're accessing the game that you already purchased from them? That doesn't make any sense to me, on like saying, like, unless you're saying that because of what they're it sounds like that they're trying to push is that they're saying, if you're wanting to play your game, but you don't, wait, you don't have a PC, but you're going to be playing it from a cloud base with the keys that you already had access to, we have another reason to just say, you need to pay an additional $5 to do that, or something like that,
Yeah.
for technology that's not
You
theirs,
already
is what's
own.
it's weird. It's something that you've already owned. And that's what's really irritating me. And this is where I feel like where Smitty's coming back on, where we're taking a step back on this, is it's because it's a level of greed to
Mm-hmm.
this point. And then it's like, why do y'all feel that, like what is y'all's reasoning for this? Like, y'all shouldn't care at this point. You already got the money from the consumer at this point. So, like, in my eyes, I think it's actually, I'm going to switch. I'll be on the fact that this is Geforce is the Geforce is actually kind of like the good guys on this, because, like, I think the reason why Geforce didn't do this is that they didn't think it was going to be a big deal on their outcome on this, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, because it's not like they're giving the games out and then they're giving accessibility to to people, but rather they're like saying, oh, okay, they have their Steam library, we got their access, they've already paid the games that they have on their own Steam library, now we're just giving them accessibility to the Steam library that they already have. I don't know, man. Like, it's very disappointing to see this. Like, now, the counter argument that I've heard about this was that they're saying that this is not allowing developers to make a secondary version of the games through, like, like how you saw Call of Duty and Call of Duty Mobile, and to, like, different kinds of things, that this doesn't allow them to be doing stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, that's kind of a weak point. You could easily do that still, if you're wanting to do it, because technically Call of Duty on mobile is a completely different kind of game than what it was on the regular Call of Duty game
Yeah.
itself. So I don't know. So, but I mean, that's where I stand. It really annoys me that when you see crap like this, to deal with all this nonsense, and then it's like they're just not wanting to come together, but instead they're just wanting to have it's like, give us a reason to put to have the consumer pay more money for these things. So yeah.
This is
Well,
what
I mean,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think on Blizzard's end, and I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I do agree. I think with Blizzard's end, I don't think there was any sort of communication with them really, and I think that's where it fell out. I mean, obviously with the other games, with like GTA and Rockstar and Capcom, obviously they're kind of like, well, we're gonna hold off, and I understand that too, but and I definitely see your point. I think it's more of like a just like I feel like it's just a big communication error, and I think it could have been easily rendered if people had, done the proper like due diligence and spoken with these other companies and discussed things with them instead of just here it is, you can have it. I just
I
and
don't.
maybe
Yeah.
I don't absolutely understand it in its entirety, like the whole like I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
Okay,
You know what
well,
does that make
this is
sense?
no, I know exactly what you're meaning. Like you're saying, like the open lines of communication for this. This is okay. I'm not saying this is exactly what they did, but this is what I'm feeling what happened. So GeForce created a cloud-based service that allows accessibility to let you play your library on the go itself. Okay, so GeForce themselves are saying, okay, hey, we found a way that everyone can can still play their games with the service called GeForce Now. It's like
Right.
you already bought. Here's all your games you already paid for. You have accessibility through the cloud to play them instead of using your own personal PC. And then they're just like, okay, so I guess everyone's cool with that. I guess since they already paid the developers their keys, they already paid their money for these games and stuff. That we should be good to go because we don't want the service. We just want this. We want this accessibility. Then you have the third party company like Activision and stuff saying, "Whoa, wait, you're allowing them to play our games on our on the cloud that y'all made, but you're not giving us any royalties towards it." It's like, who the hell are you
Mm, right.
to do that and stuff? But then I bet you their counter argument was they already paid for it. like what like why do you want it doesn't matter, like you already got your money from this. This isn't like a feature that you put in your game. We're just letting people play if they either like let's say if someone didn't have wants to play Doom Eternal, but they don't have a computer that's strong enough to play Doom Eternal. They can
Right.
play Doom Eternal through a cloud to possibly maybe have a better experience on it. It's like,
Right.
okay, they can still buy the game. They'll still give you the $60, to Bethesda. But here you go. Here's your accessibility for it. And
Yeah.
but then but Bethesda's but they come back and they're like saying, why are you letting them do it this way? You should give us money to allow you to use the technology that you created to do that. And I feel that it is a bit on GeForce's level. On like, I bet you they just assumed it was good because
Right.
there's nothing that they're adding to it to the game. There's no extra devs that they needed to code towards it. It was just accessibility.
Well,
So
let me throw a wrench at this, and let's because I get what you're saying, absolutely, and I understand that. But like, let's put it from like a Spotify point of view, right?
mhm,
Spotify gives you music on the go, right?
mhm,
Let's say you already own these records, great. But now Spotify is now using those. There has to be some sort of agreement because it's you're using hundreds of thousands of libraries, right?
mhm,
But that's someone's rights and they get royalties, right?
mhm,
And so off of so many plays equals x amount of money. And yes, before, a certain period in time, there was no agreements, but now there are agreements, there are contracts, and these artists get x, y, and z. And so from like thinking of the situation from that point of view, I kind of understand it, right?
mhm.
Because there's been creators who made the music, who made the visuals, who made, you know what I mean? There was a lot that went into it. And like, yes, people already own these games, but it's kind you can say that I already own every Michael Jackson record that there is and Jackson 5, but to play it in my car, I need to use Spotify because there's no record player in my car, right? So in my head, if I think about it in terms like that, I understand where they're coming from, but I
Yeah.
also understand it's like, but I already own this. Screw you. I mean, I get both sides. I just don't know which side of the fence I land on.
Here's the difference though. With Spotify, you're going through Spotify's service because they did they did get paid they paid the royalties towards the individuals for that.
Right.
But did I tell you? But there is a company that allows you to say if you have the record and you're wanting to play it on your thing, and you don't need to use a service like Spotify to do it, you still have access to it. That company is Google, because Google Play Music allows you to upload your own individual records into your own library, and then it'll allow you to go and say, hey, this is yours. You have proof that this is your CD.
Yeah.
This is the CD you have. You uploaded it to our own cloud services, and you could play whatever the hell you wanting to do, because this is your stuff. But
Right.
so it's the way that you purchase that in the
Yeah.
matter of Spotify's your reasoning with Spotify. It's the way that you purchase the music
Yeah.
itself is where it comes down to. Like, if you bought the song through Spotify, you're going to have to use it to do it.
Yeah.
But in this case with Nvidia, is like they're doing it. I think that they kind of folded it to Google's side, Google's reasoning of this. It's like, you bought the game, you already
You already
gave the
own it.
royalties to, you already own it. You show proof because you got the keys to prove that this is yours, and then you're just trying to get accessibility towards what you already own. It's not.
Right.
It's not. There's no store. There's no Nvidia doesn't have a store that they're trying to say, hey, you have to purchase it at the Nvidia
Yeah.
store to play for it. This is your stuff that you already have. So I mean,
And
that's where
and
I'm
and
looking for it.
yeah, no, and I absolutely get that. I mean, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and put maybe like a different little bit of a spotlight on it. And there's always a go around. I'm just gonna say that right
Hmm.
now. There's always a go around. I'm disabled. I can't go and sit in the movie theater for 2.5 hours to watch a movie. So, when it's hair washing day, I watch what I want to watch. And how
Hmm.
I get that is my business. But what I'm saying is I do get both standpoints, and
Yeah,
I get
you just don't
absolutely
know where
what
you
you're
want.
saying. I
Yeah,
just don't know where I really lay on it. And I think it's a great what they're
well, that's
doing.
fair.
And
Uh huh.
I understand what they're doing, and I think it is great, and I think it's a great technology, and I think it's very useful. Not for me personally, but
Hmm.
I can see where that comes into life for others, and just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean I don't want it to work for others. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I think it's great what they're doing, and I think eventually, uh, with a lot of pushback, because people are going to eventually push back on this, I think things will go their way, and it's just going to take a little bit of time.
So if you
Yeah.
see the this little segment here in that video, it says earlier this week, Hinterland Studio founder Ralph Van Leeuwenhoek said that the video
Hmm.
never asked the developers permission to include the long dark in Geforce Now, and as such, he had asked for it to be removed. Please take your complaints to them, not us. Said Ralph. Tweeted on Sunday. Devs should control where their games exist. So I think this is kind of a two-pronged thing too. It was kind of weird. I mean, I get
Yeah.
it, you know what I mean, like as far as with that, but you should have at least gone to the table and be like, "Hey, are you guys good with us continuing to use this after the beta period?" You would think that there would be some sort of conversation. It was almost like they were just kind of like, we're just gonna kind of let it roll on in and see if anybody
Yeah.
responds. So it's hard. Like I'm kind of on the middle on this because I kind of see both sides of that story. Obviously, you know
Hmm.
what I mean. There's the corporate part of it, but at the same time, it's like, look, it's at least courtesy, or out of courtesy. Hey, is it cool to continue using this after, or do you guys want to reach some sort of an agreement? Because it doesn't sound like these publishers are not willing to do this. It seems
Hmm.
more like, look, we're pulling out because there was never a discussion about this. So the ball's in your court, Nvidia, on what you do and what those terms look like. So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
that's true. Jody Phoenix, I'm looking at all the chats. I'm trying to catch up all everything that's in on the chat. Jody Phoenix says yes, CFG, but if you look it on the LP, or if you have it on LP or cassette, you're not really easily uploaded onto your PC. And at that point, if you upload it on PC, there's no point uploading it to Google Play. True. I
Agreed.
mean,
And,
there's a
and most
level.
of my stuff's vinyl. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
all my
yeah,
stuff is vinyl.
yeah,
So I
yeah. I
can't,
mean, yeah.
without
I mean,
a
oh, I'm sorry.
thousand dollars of equipment, I can't really upload it to my PC. You know?
Yeah. I mean, at that point though, then you have to make the decision if you're wanting to go
Right.
through it on what's it called on another. But yeah, but then let's see
Repurchasing it, basically.
what the DJs a wed off streamers you can think of it this way, to like if you own a game that is so old like Sega, and there's no remake for the game, you can show that you own the Sega game itself, but you can't stream it because you did not buy that copy of the game you're emulating. And that's in the way, and I see where you're getting at, DJ, and I do see that. But in this case, though, there is proof by the CD
Yeah.
keys that you have inside
Mhm.
Steam, because the Steam keys is what's giving you the access, saying that it's letting you that's proof to say that you are having it. I mean, this isn't like a universal thing itself as a whole. I mean, right now, I think GeForce Now only works on for Steam based games, and I guess maybe no, I guess basically everything, because it
No,
did
it was
work on
other. Yeah,
BattleNet and stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe they gave too much control towards it, but like overall, but there was already a standard of showing authentication that you own the game, in itself. So
I think it
that
was a
was
matter of companies not being comfortable with it. It's a new way of doing things, and with there not being any conversation, they said, "Whoa, I'm gonna back out real quick. Let's talk about this because we haven't really thought about what the true implications of what you're doing is." And now that you've
mm,
launched and people, and now it's completely like in the spotlight and this and that. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Pump them
yeah.
brakes. Let's have a conversation about it. I think it's a lot of that.
Yeah, so I think it's just it's definitely a level of naiveness with on Nvidia's side, big time towards that. So I'm being serious. Oh, okay. Yeah. So like, but yeah, we'll definitely see. I think there will be an in between eventually towards this. There obviously needs to be a channel of communication between Nvidia and these developers. That's where it's coming out. So hopefully this doesn't change anything. Oh, you're looking at showing off your vinyls, Lex.
Yes, this is vinyl, Fryman.
Mhm.
I know you are le bébé. This is vinyl.
Yeah, vinyls. Yeah,
A
those
You
are
record.
put it
really
on a record
nice.
player. You've probably never seen one before. They exist. Don't worry.
Like you
But
buy
yeah,
it on
this is
PS4 and
vinyl.
play it
You
on the
can't put
difference.
this in your car, you know?
Yeah,
It doesn't fit in a CD
yeah,
player.
Nope.
But this is vinyl. Best listening experience you will ever have in your entire
Yeah.
life.
The sound
it
is
Hands
so
is.
down.
different.
I will
Oh, it's
agree
so
that
much
yeah, that's
better.
definitely when it's on straight wax. Yeah, just make sure that it's like not in really hot areas like Arizona. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah, so definitely. Okay, we'll cut it off here. This is a perfect time to stop. I like that. It was a really good conversation. I like it. I love talking to you about that stuff, Lex. So that's cool. Smitty, what are you streaming this week?
This week, obviously, Friday, another Overwatch night, and I'm not sure as far as Thursday. It'll probably be either Division 2 or Star Citizen or Destiny 2. Probably 1 to 3.
Mhm.
And then hopefully I'm able to. I gotta sit down and take some time to reevaluate some stuff. But I'll be working on some sound effects and stuff like that I've got to make for some people and just working. Actually, I'm in next week. I have to go down to Tempe for a shoot.
Arizona?
Yeah, so I'm going down
Oh wow.
there, and then it'll only be like a day, and then I'll come
You do
back.
a day drive? Wow, that
No, no,
sucks.
no. I'm gonna go the day before, stay overnight, get up early. The shoots in the morning, and then I'll drive back here to Vegas after.
Oh, sounds good. That sounds
Yeah.
good. But yeah, that's awesome. What about you, Lex? What do you have? What are your plans this week?
Good question. Well, now that I'm not on my deathbed any longer, definitely going to be streaming. Yeah, I think did we finish Outlast? I can't remember. I think we're like 2 minutes away from finishing Outlast. I know that my favorite killer is coming out in a couple days on
Nice.
DVD, so Spoopy Tuesday is gonna be super super good. Is it Tuesday that it comes out? Oh, thank God! Yeah, so Tuesday. I was like, wait. So Spoopy Tuesday is gonna be super fun. In Monster Hunter, I'm just kind of like doing my own
Chilling.
thing, so I don't know if we're gonna do a Monster Hunter Monday this week. But we are going to stream tonight. I'm in the mood. I'd put my face on, so we might as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just gonna kind of get back to things. Hopefully, if I'm feeling up to it, I'm still under the weather, but just getting back to the norm. The day to day.
Sweet deal. That's awesome. All right. And yeah, try not to go too crazy. I don't want to get you back into it. And also, I'm just going
Excuse
to
me.
try to do, yeah, that's all good. I'm going to try to continue on with my Astral Chains gameplay playthrough. So hopefully tomorrow. We've been busy. There's a lot of games that we have embargo in the chain right now, so we're messing around with right now in the back end. But we'll definitely be doing that. So I'm going to be doing some of that. I'm actually thinking about also streaming ranked fighting ranked play on my because I picked up Dragon Ball Fighter Z. And
Ooh.
I've been practicing a lot on it, and been trying now. I think I'm ready. Good. I'm comfortable enough to start playing rank play with other people. So definitely stay tuned on that this week. And yeah, you can definitely check my stuff out. CFG Games. Uh, uh, well, we have a lot of different kind of variety content and stuff like that. And Smitty's is going to be Smitty2447 as always to be a part of this itty bitty Smitty committee.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
yes, you go check out the variety streamer. This is Lex. It's this_is_Lex, and then you'll be able to catch all her awesome stuff on her with her Spoopy Tuesday and Monster Honey / Overwatch goodness. So folks, this is episode number 38. Do us a favor, give us a like, a follow, or follow us on our podcast services like Apple, Google Podcast, Stitcher Radio, or Podbean. Show the community so we can grow this community up with every other kinds of gamers. And also check out for awesome content confreaksandgeeks.com to not miss any further episodes of this great podcast. We can't do this without y'all. We really appreciate everyone and the viewers and stuff that's been with us. This is actually our first. Next week is going to be our first year. It's going to be our 1 year anniversary. You know that's
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Is that crazy?
That's
so that's
awesome.
definitely awesome. So we'll definitely need to do it. And yes, Smitty does need to grow the beard. but yeah, so we're definitely going to be staying tuned. Next week, we're going to have a special episode. We're going to have a special guest in. We're going to be recording on Sunday evening. So we'll definitely give you some more information once that comes closer. And you won't miss this one.
I'm gonna be nervous about.
Really? You never
I
talked
met
to
this person, and Smitty and Adam like shoved me to go say hello. I was like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm super excited about it just because,
Me too.
and yeah, we'll talk about it. But
I DM'd this person later. I was like, I'm sorry for that awkward hello.
That's
I
so
promise
awesome.
I'm not that weird all the time, just sometimes. Okay.
So yeah, no, they're really good. They're definitely a really good group. So definitely stay tuned for next week's episode. It's gonna be
Who knows?
he, we'll see. But
They.
I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. But yeah, so guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a great weekend.